relevant, and real-life experience, the All Nations Experience. If you are enjoying this ministry and you'd like to sow a seed, we have 5 convenient ways for you to do so. Cash App at All Nations Chicago, Givelify at All Nations Church of God in Christ. You can Zelle at All Nations COGIC at hotmail.com, or you can text GAYL to 54244, or use the church website www.thechurchthatworks.org. We invite you to come join us for this live, epic, exciting experience. So call a neighbor, call a friend, and let them know the Happy Church Online, the All Nations Experience, is now on live. Your announcer for this hour has been Minister Quentin Bowie. Prayer will be offered by Sister Juanita Wells, worship by our ANC praise team, and the next speaking voice you will hear is our pastor and your media minister, Elder Andre R. Fluker Sr. Amen.
Amen. Let us look to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence in this place, oh God. We thank you that we can enter into your gates with thanksgiving and into your courts with praise on this morning. We're so thankful, Heavenly Father. We bless your holy name. We glorify you on this morning, oh God. And we just ask that you come in, oh God. Come in and have thine own way on today, Lord. Move by your spirit in the house on today, Father. Father God, we pray right now that every spirit will come subject to the prophet of the house. Father God, we thank you right now for deliverance in the building. We thank you for salvation on today, Father God. Father, we're asking that you move into the homes of those that are watching on today, God. In the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, let them be blessed by the word. We thank you for sending your word to heal your people on today, God. We thank you for the word declares that in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. So God, we thank you for your word on today, which is a lamp to our feet and a light unto our path, oh God. Father God, we just thank you for sending your only begotten Son, Jesus, believeth in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. We thank you, Father, on today. Father God, we just asking that you touch each and every vessel that is in the house on today. Cover our pastor on today, Father, in the mighty name of Jesus. We come against the enemy on every side on today, God. We bind up every satanic attack on today, God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Father God, we know that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and ultimately destroy. But Jesus came that we may have life and have that more abundantly on today, God. Father God, we thank you for the preach message that will go forth on today. We thank you for the teaching that will go forth on today, God. Lord God, you said that everything that has breath, praise you, the Lord. We're going to praise you on today in spite of God. We're going to praise you on today, Father God. Every God said what we see on today, Father. We want to praise you on today, Father. But we look not at what we see, but we look at what we can't see. But what we see is temporary. And what we do see, Father God, is what's eternal. And we know that you are eternal, God. You sit high and you look low today, Father. Father God, looking on our First Lady on today, God. As they go forth on today, Father God, we thank you on today for your chemistry, Father God, that is between the two of them, God. We thank you for your anointing today, Father God, that will destroy every yoke on today. We thank you, Father God, on today for how you just moving in the place, God. We thank you, Father God, for waking each and every one of us up on this morning. Continue to have your way, God. We thank you, Lord. Hallelujah, for how you're blessing your people. We thank you for the praise team on today, God. That sung of the ocean of the Holy Ghost on today. We thank you, Father God, for touching the hearts of your people that are in the place on today. Mend the broken hearted on today, Father. Comfort the feeble minds on today, God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Now, Lord, move up and down this blessed world on today, Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. God, we're asking that you move throughout the city of Chicago today, God. Comfort the mothers and the fathers that are mourning their children on today, God. In the mighty name of Jesus. And Lord, we thank you on today for being our shepherd. As sheep before our shepherd on today, Father God. We will not lean to our own understanding, but in all of our ways, we want to acknowledge you on today, Father. That you may direct our paths on this morning. Father God, we ask you that you just move in this community. Move like never before in this community, God. Lead your people into the church house on today, God. In the mighty name of Jesus, and we thank you for it right now, God. Have thine own way. Move on today, God. Move by your spirit on today, God. In the mighty name of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus. God, we thank you for breaking every yoke right now, God. We have the chains being broken right now, God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Hallelujah, God. We thank you right now for being a consuming fire. We thank you for burning up everything in our life, God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Deliverance is in the house, God. And we thank you for it on today, Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. We honor you and we bless you, Lord. We glorify you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Come on and clap your hands for the prayer. Hallelujah, Jesus. God, we thank you. Come on and clap your hands like this. My God, it's been so that it's going to work. It's going to work. The power of death and life is in your tongue. So if you decree a thing, and if God said it, if he said it, he's going to do it. So I dare you to lift your hands and begin to decree and declare whatever it is that you want the Lord to do. I'm not going to ask you to scream it. I'm not going to ask you to tell your neighbor. But lift your hands and begin to decree and declare whatever the Lord has for you. I dare you to say, Lord, do it for me. Whatever it is you're doing in this season, don't do it without me. If he did it before, he'll do it again. Same God right now. Same God that did it. If he did it before, he can do it again. Same God right now. Same God that did. Help me Don't know why. is through. You're not there anymore. And it's no goodness of any of ours, but it's by the goodness of Jesus that we all are here in the land of the living, protected and keep in our right minds. So when we say, and we're standing here, we don't take advantage of it. We appreciate the fact that, God, you look beyond our faults and you saw our needs. So we say, we're standing here, no goodness of mine, no. But we're standing here, oh, last time. And we're standing here, only because you made a way. Now you grateful for the way that you made. Come on and give us some praise. Oh, we thank you for making a way. Oh, we thank you for making a way. Yeah.
Come on, let's give God some praise. Come on, let's give God some praise. He's worthy of the glory, He's worthy of the honor, and He's worthy of the praise. Come on, let's celebrate Him. He's worthy. He's worthy. Come on, don't stop. Get it. Don't stop. Get it. He's worthy of the glory. He's worthy of the honor. He's worthy of the praise. We celebrate Him. We honor Him. We salute Him. We appreciate Him because He's been better to us than we could have ever been to ourselves. And for that we say thank you. We're grateful that God has blessed us to come together again in the beauty of holiness just to celebrate Him and to appreciate Him for being the God in our life. And we're thankful and we're appreciative that God has made a way. But brothers and sisters, you are here at the All Nations Church of God in Christ for what we call the All Nations Experience. By way of special announcements, you can join the Vacation Bible School Island. It'll be August the 3rd through August the 7th. Lunch will be served. You may reach out to Sister Juanita any given moment. The enrollment is July the 25th from 12 to 4:30 p.m. My brothers and sisters, we're grateful and thankful that the Lord has blessed us to come together one more time in the beauty of holiness. Did you enjoy worship this morning? Come on, did you enjoy worship this morning? We had a phenomenal time in God, and we are in store for a great treat. On today, my brothers and sisters, we bring you greetings from the All Nations Church of God in Christ, the church that works and the ministry that gives. And we are celebrating God on today. We're grateful and we're thankful. We're going to ask those of you who are viewing today to like and share. We're in store for a great treat on today, and I am indeed grateful and thankful that the Lord has brought us together again, and we are appreciative that God has blessed us to say yes to His will and yes to His way. Amen. As we're preparing our heart for this one-on-one session, I want you to understand that we are grateful and appreciative that God has blessed us to come together one more time. And you do know, I don't know, this is real life issues right now. I really don't know why my wife is not up here at the present moment. I don't know what she's waiting on, but you get it here first live here at the All Nations Church. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. God bless you. Amen. Praise the Lord. All right. We're ready to go forth in our worship today. We've enjoyed our praise and worship today. Come on, let's give God some praise for our praise and worship. Thank God for Sister Denise Rutledge and Minister Lawrence and all of you who are part of this dynamic praise and worship, celebratory worship experience. And for that, we are appreciative. On today, this tag team sermon is designed, my brothers and sisters, to encourage, to empower, and enlighten you so that you can go, you can grow, and you can glow. Brothers and sisters, we want you to go forward into ministry so that you may reach your destiny. Not only shall you go forward in ministry, but you will grow in your spiritual development so that God may be able to help you bloom where you're planted. So you'll go, you'll grow, and you'll glow. The purpose of glowing is so that God's will can be done in your life. For the Bible says in Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And for that we're grateful. So Lady Fluke and I today are going to share in a very unorthodox but yet a gifted way that God has given unto us through this vision. And we're going to share some nuggets with you how to have a successful marriage/relationship. Spiritual vitamins to have a successful relationship and marriage. Let me just throw this disclaimer out. We too have issues. We too have problems. As a matter of fact, we're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but we practice living through the vicissitudes of life so that God's will can be done in our life, so that we may consistently live through pain, persecution, and problems without the need to share or broadcast to family, friends, or foes. Only our Father. And so if I can just submit this to you today, our marriage has never been just between the two of us. Though I love the song, Just the Two of Us. I love the song, but our marriage has never been between just the two of us. As a matter of fact, as I move forward, there's a passage of scripture that I want to lift up, Lady Fluke, Genesis chapter 2. Genesis chapter 2. I want to look at verse 23 and 24. It says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. I'm excited already because coming up November the 15th, 2020, Lady Fluke and I will be celebrating our 5th year wedding anniversary. I've known Lady Fluker since she was 15 years old, a freshman in high school. When I saw her in school, please forgive me, I was one of those bad church children who did not want to live the life that my father wanted me to live. I wanted to live my way. So to be honest, I was walking down the hallway. Whenever I got Lady Fluker's schedule, I found out where she was going to be. I was walking up and down the hallway singing Ribbon in the Sky. I was trying to woo her. I mean, I was singing, and back then my voice was like Michael Jackson. Oh, so long. I was singing. The problem was I attracted the wrong ones. It didn't work on the person I was trying to sing to. I started attracting the wrong ones. But the reality is, after years of depression, death, and discouragement, God brought us together for such a time as this. And I want to say to you, without any hesitation, in all honesty, that I love her more today than I did the day we got married. And I loved her a lot the day we got married. But because I've watched her mature and to grow from the lady and the girl and the woman that she was, I was able to see as a pastor a member develop before my very eyes. And it has been very humbling for me, because when I asked her to marry me, it was only because I finally sought God. That's a key ingredient, because before I did not seek God. I just did stuff for the church people. And we're going to get into that a little later, because it bothers me about church people. some of you that's watching, the church people, you're so sanctified, sanctimonious, and I had to live with the drama that you heard about. You didn't know anything about it. You just heard that person's view, that person's side, and then you tried to talk about me. Matter of fact, not you tried to, you talked about me. You ostracized me. You even tried to hate on me and tried to block me. But the reality is God loved me enough that in the midst of all that you tried to do against me, when I think of one word that can describe my marriage, it is lifted. The one word that describes my marriage is lifted. The reason I say is lifted, you know, our theme song for LA Fluker Ministries is Love Lifted Me. Well, I want to help you understand why it is love lifted me. God is love. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. And so God is love. And while others had talked about me, they blocked me, others had turned their backs on me, others have hated on me, they lied on me, but I would testify today that God lifted me. If I can use it in layman's term, Lady Fluker, I would say God Lolita'd me. You don't hear me. Amen. God Lolita'd me. So when I think of my marriage, the word that I think about is lifted. Because when Lady Fluker walked into my life, what was down, what was dismal, what is discouraging, what is despairing, God, through the auspices of this woman of God, lifted me to the place where I need to be. That's why today God gave us this subject, Tell Hell I Ain't Coming. Because before I met Lady Fluker, I didn't have to tell hell I wasn't coming. I was on my way to hell. And I was enjoying the trip because the feeling was so good, because I wanted to do what I wanted to do based upon not wanting to be in church. Because the church people were so judgmental, as if they're the only ones that God can deliver, the only ones that God can set free. But I'm here to serve notice on you who are watching this via Facebook Live or the website. I need you to know that God is able to heal you. He's able to deliver you. He's able to set you free. But you have to ask God to deliver you from people. And when God delivered me from people, I was able to have a successful relationship with the woman of my dreams, because I discovered when God showed me the vision of this woman, God showed me a vision of him. And he said, when you mistreat her, you're mistreating me. And Lady Fluker, this morning, if we're going to have a successful marriage, you have to view your mate as the one that God gave you on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. So I did say, Lady Fluker, that our marriage has never been just between us two. And if I can just be perfectly honest with you, the reason it has not been just between us two is because God has always been at the center and forefront of our relationship. If you look at a graph, God Lolita'd me. God Lolita'd me. God lifted me. Love lifted me. And as long as you see that going, it's those three in the equation. And the reality is, the two central elements of a successful marriage is understanding the beginning. In the beginning, it says in Genesis 2 that a man will leave mother and father and cleave to his wife. So when I had to leave everything that I had, leave relationships, leave bonds, leave people that meant me no good, I left that behind so that I could focus my attention in one area. So people of God, here we are today, sharing with you some great nuggets that God have blessed us as man and woman of God to understand that once you get married, you become many things. You become husband and wife. Eventually, you might become mother and father, grandmother and grandfather. You become partners in life, business, and for us, ministry. But in the process of becoming all these things, you can lose sight of the original purpose of marriage by not leaving and cleaving. Lady Fluker, let's go.
So on today, I know this is very different you all were expecting us to stand up here and do a little hoop and do a little holler, and you were expecting something completely different. And we wanted intentionally to come different on today.
Yes.
The purpose of this marriage one-on-one is to bring you all into our lives at a more personable level. When it comes to marriage in the church, we have a huge miss. We miss it. If you get divorced and in church, you're made to feel like the biggest sinner there could be. Even outside of church, you are embarrassed and you feel bad. But in the church, the place where we come for healing is the place where you're made to feel even worse. And so on today, we want to share with you some tips of a successful marriage. After having doing it before, we realized that there were some things that we did wrong before to bring us to this point today.
Yes.
It's interesting because just a couple of days ago, a famous couple came to the red table. And they came to the red table, and all of a sudden a word that we find over in Romans, to be not entangled, we're using this word now, entanglement. So this famous woman and her husband appeared on Facebook Live, and within 1 hour, 24 million people viewed it. And she began to talk about her indiscretion, her entanglement with another man while she was still married to her husband. Very famous husband, I may add. What I really found to be astonishing was that he was there at the red table with her. And he said out of his own mouth, "Oh, I wanted to feel a lot different than me sitting here right now. I wanted to be angry, I wanted to be mad, but they made a vow in their marriage." He said that we'd be together forever. And I'll love you through anything. I'll love you through anything. And I began to think to myself, wow, I don't know. As a matter of fact, I heard that they practice Scientology. That's not our religion. We are believers in the church. And yet, instead of helping the wounded, we kill the wounded. We do even more to them. They already feel bad, and we make them feel worse in the church. When I was growing up, it did not matter. It did not matter. The husband could be not such a good husband, or the wife didn't have to be the perfect wife. But they came to church, and they would put on a front. They would mask the trouble that they had in their marriage for the sake of the people, their colleagues, the people that they were leading, their peers. We had to make sure during this time that nobody can see that we really don't even like each other. We don't want anybody to know that we sleep in separate bedrooms. We didn't want anybody to know that in the house that we live in, that he don't always come home. But they remained married by way of signing and before the witnesses, but they did not even like each other. The church is the hospital. It's the place where we come for healing, and that's what it should be. So we're bringing you into our lives very transparently to let you know that two imperfect people can come together, but with God at the center, the glue that puts this thing together, that's the only way you're able to make it. We are not perfect, but we are certainly striving with God in the middle, holding this thing together after being disappointed before, after doing it wrong. You saying, well, why in the world would hell have anything to do with it? By definition, hell is a place regarded as a spiritual realm of evil and suffering. It's depicted as a place of perpetual fire beneath the earth where the wicked are punished after death. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can have hell on earth. You marry wrong,
Yes.
you can have hell on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. I got a witness.
Amen.
And so we're here to declare on today, to tell hell that I ain't coming. I'm simply not coming. Been there, done that, did it wrong. You already talked about me already.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to let you know that hell, we are not coming.
Hell, we're not
Not
coming.
coming.
People of God, may I say to you, as Lady Fluker said, we are two imperfect people who have made mistakes, and here we are. God has made a way.
Yes, God.
And so, as Lady Fluker was talking and as Lady Fluker was sharing, I wanted to help us to understand the reality of marriage. Marriage is what marriage does. Society is trying to change the trajectory or the definition of marriage, but the marriage that God ordained, when God created Adam, he put Adam to sleep, and from his side he created woman. And he named all of the beasts of the field, he named everything, animals, fish, and he named the woman. He gave her name Eve, the female. So man is the male. Marriage is between a male and a female. Notice, male and female. So when a man takes a woman to be his wife, there's a fee attached to that.
Well,
That's why it's called female. You know, we hear in the natural where they say no finance, no romance, no fee, no female. No we, right? So in order for us to be successful in a relationship, you must understand what God did from the very beginning. Adam did not just walk up and see this woman. God presented her to Adam. Adam was following the directives that God had given him. He was tilling the ground. He had named. He was living there. He was doing all he was supposed to do. And then God created woman. Here comes woman. And the Bible says, right after it talks about the woman being created, that the serpent came to the woman. Now remember, man is the head. Man, God had given instructions to. The woman is the helpmeet for that man. So even though the woman have a slick and a smooth way to get your attention, hallelujah,
yeah.
you still have to follow the directives that God, your Father, had given you. Satan is a schemer. God is a planner. So while Satan is trying to scheme to divert you from a successful marriage, God has already planned your marriage for you. You just have to be obedient to his will so that you can go, glow, and grow. And so in order to be an effective marriage or be an effective relationship, you must understand that marriage was not designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you holy. Marriage is not designed for you to be happy. Marriage is designed for you to be holy. It was not until God allowed me to see the vision of marriage that I now have the responsibility now to stand firm on that belief. So you can shuck and jive, but when you come into the knowledge of the truth, now it's all on you. And so you have to leave mother, father, sister, brother, and cleave to your wife. Unfortunately, the process of leaving never takes place in many marriages. A spouse may think if things don't work out, I'll run home to mom, I'll run home to dad.
Yep.
If things don't work out, I'm going to run to my old friends and hang out with them.
Yep.
But the husband and wives should be friends first. And if they're friends first, they'll be able to understand that that relationship is solid as a rock.
Right.
It's good to honor your parents and love them. It's good to have other friends, but you should have only one best friend.
That's right.
And that is your spouse. And that's the reason why there should only be the three in a marriage: God, husband, wife. Because anybody outside of that three ring, and let me just give you the three rings: engagement ring, wedding ring, suffering. Hallelujah. In that order: engagement ring, wedding ring, suffering. So when you take on the responsibility that God has given you, there's a fee attached to it. Some is financial and some is emotional. But you have to make the commitment that I and this person are going to be the ones that God is calling for in that three-ring ceremony. Anything outside of that three-ring is going to bring damage and pain to your relationship. It's just like in the church. Anytime I see a person who is not acting the same way that they normally do, is because they have been contaminated by somebody else who is not happy in the congregation. The third party involved. It should be you, it should be God, and it should be your pastor that you talk to. And if you don't share with your pastor, you're sharing it with somebody else that you're running victim to, that when it comes out into the church, don't be afraid, don't be talking funny. You told them your business. That's right. If you don't want your business told, you need to talk to the one in confidence that won't share your business. And that is the pastor. That's a whole nother subject. But when you get outside of that three ring, you're in wrong territory.
Yes. And so on today, we want to share some tips of how to have a successful marriage. Before I get to that, I want to line out the blueprint for marriage. If you're single, this will certainly help you. It'll help you. It'll help you value being single. If you are already married, this should certainly strengthen your marriage. If you are contemplating divorce, this will help you. You'll learn some things perhaps that you were never told, that you did not know. It's removing the blinders off of your eyes. So in other words, we can cover everybody, single, married, divorced. Amen. We can cover it in this session. The blueprint for marriage. I don't advise anyone to get married without reading 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. That's a blueprint. You need to write that down. Also, you need to read 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, verses 1 through 10.
Yes.
There's your blueprint. You don't read this beforehand. You don't get the wise counsel. You just do what you're doing because you've grown in age. And then you have a problem on your hand, feeling like you're going to a dark place. And by all means, Ephesians, the 5th chapter, verses 21 through 33. Those are a must read. If I had read those first, if I were aware of those first, and I had the godly counsel before doing it before, it would have helped me. In that, you find out even if this is the person that no, this is the wrong one. I shouldn't be getting married to him. Amen. That's the wrong one. You will think to yourself, you need to read those, because one thing that I've said to myself, you don't want to marry on pretense. You gotta accept a person for who they are when you get with them. What if they don't ever change? What if he don't ever stop drinking? What if she don't ever get off crack? What if she's never one that is submitted to you completely and faithful? When you're marrying, don't go in and saying, I'm going to change him. You cannot change him. You cannot change a person. You're already setting yourself up for failure in the door. And then you're wondering why you're in a relationship that make you feel like you're in hell. You're in a dark place. You're in a very dark place, can't hold your head up. And so what you do is you just go on and going through the motion, and you're living your life and he's living his life. That's not a marriage. You're just two people that have decided to come together, and you've left God out of the equation. Therefore, you're just running around here being like some people in heat. here are some things that every woman, you have to have this from a man. You have to have it. You have to have this from a man. Men, take note of what every woman needs. There are a few more, but I'm going to give you 3 or 4 of these on today that a woman have to have. For one, a woman needs security. She must have security. I'm not talking about security as in
ADT?
not ADT. I'm not talking about Brinks. I'm not talking about Alarm One. But she needs security. She needs that security. Also, I'll put trust with that. She's got to be able to trust you. Every woman needs affection. Every woman. And every woman needs you to communicate with her. When I say security or trust, a woman needs to feel secure in her husband. The husband is the priest, the provider, and the protector of his home. That husband have to have a vision for his family. He's the visionary leader of that house. The hopes and dreams lie with the leader. A woman needing that security, a woman needs financial security. Men, amen, women, am I in the house?
That's the fee.
That's the fee that Pastor was speaking of. A woman needs financial security. A woman needs to know that through the vision that you have for our family, for our lives, you get married young, you get married perhaps at 25, you got a whole lot of growing to do. You don't have a whole lot of money then, but at least you should have a 5-year plan for the family. At least we should go from A and get us to G. If he don't have a plan, we just staying at A, we've got a problem. Your woman needs to feel secure. She needs to feel like when everything else fails, I know I can go to the rock, but that rock I need my husband to be able to say, listen, if I need to do Uber, Lyft, and work at the hotel part-time to make ends meet, he's not afraid to do all three. A woman needs security. She don't need to feel like, I don't know, if I were to lose my job, what are we going to do? She shouldn't have that worry. She shouldn't be the one up worrying at night how ends going to meet. She needs the financial security from the priest, the provider of that house. If not, men, you risk her finding that comfort in somebody else. They talk about the cleanup woman, but there's a cleanup man. You will find yourself going to another man, and you don't want her to fall in the arms of another man because there's no security with you. And you're the priest and provider. You say it out of your mouth, but your actions, we sit here and we still got sheets at the window. Come on, you drive, you see them everywhere. They got blue sheets. All in Roseland. Blue sheets up to all on the west side. Now, when are we taking the blue sheets down and you putting up some real panels? Come on, this is what we live every day. Your woman needs security. She needs to be able to trust you. She needs to be able to trust, you know what? Just as sure as I am, when I go out, I know that my husband got his food going to be on this table. Food will be on the table, and it don't have to come by way of a link card. Amen. He should be pushing you, telling you, go down there wherever you got to go. I guess online now. Go and make sure you can get some money for food for us and the children. Come on, that's the wrong man. If he's already telling you that, exit stage left. You need him to be able to say, I'll go. I make the bacon. What you doing making the bacon and bringing home the bread? You marrying wrong. Every woman needs affection. When I say affection, now I'm not talking about, Affection is not just sex.
Oh, man.
It's not just sex. Affection, that would be the loving gestures that your husband give you all day. When you leave out of the house, your husband should have already told you that you look really good. He should have already told you, man, look, I like your hair. Wow, I like the makeup. He liked the way you look. You don't need somebody in the street to validate you, because your husband already did it before you left.
Right.
He's sending you a text message during the course of the day. You look up, you get a text from him, and he's saying, hey, baby, I just wanted you to know how much I love you and I was thinking about you. And all that work, you smiling. Even though your boss just made you mad, you got a grin on your face like, oh, I just read a text. I'm not even concerned about what they just said. It'll make you skip through the office. You'll get a pep in your step. He'll send a picture at work. He's sending a picture and he's saying, girl, I can't wait till we get home. All of these things add up to when you get home and the kids go to sleep. And then you come together. See, y'all thinking all wrong. It's in the book.
Yes.
This is all biblical.
That's right.
You better read Ephesians.
That's right.
Your woman needs the affection, man. She needs you to say sweet nothings to her. She like that. It drives her. It makes her feel some type of way when you are sending those sweet nothings, compliments, sending her flowers. Don't let somebody else send flowers and man say, who sent them? It should have been you. Why haven't you sent her flowers since the first year you all got married? You on year number 8, and she only remember one time when flowers were a gift from her husband. Make it a practice to say, you know what, on Fridays it's going to be flowers.
That's good. That's good.
Fannie Mae still exists.
Good.
Berries by Sherry still exists. He can go online and just send it to you. Amen. Amen. I'm helping somebody. Amen. Come on with me. Y'all ought to be screaming and saying, tell them. Young women, you need to make sure that you are marrying the right man. Another thing that every woman needs is communication. Oh, well. Listen, somebody, I heard them say that's the biggie.
Yes.
Men, you have to communicate. Now, I know women, they say we talk more than men. We talk a lot more.
Oh, my God. Jesus.
That's us by nature. We talk by nature. That's just us. You don't have to pull out your hair. But that's just a woman, men. That's just a woman. We talk. And men, just by instinct, men are just wired. They're just trained to be that man. Just forget it. Just get out of the way. I'm just automatically going to fix it. Men, every time your wife says something to you, she's not necessarily looking for you to fix it. She needs you to listen. Amen. No, you can clap. She wants you to just listen to her. She need a man that can listen. She talking about what happened, and you know what? They hating on me, and I'm saying, you know what? I shouldn't even be friends with them anymore. Do you know what she did? And you sitting up here ignoring her. I don't want to hear, because all your husband gonna say is, don't talk to him no more.
Right. Leave her alone. Don't pick up.
Don't answer the
Go
phone.
straight to voicemail. Literally.
But a woman really just want you to listen to her.
Okay.
She needs you to listen. And with that communication,
Help me.
we want to communicate. Now, women, a man don't need us to be their mother.
Amen.
We are not their mother.
Amen. Come on, somebody.
He don't need you to be his mom.
Fellas, say it loud.
A man really hate when you say, I told you. We're good for that, women. I told you. What you doing? You didn't fix it. I'm trying to tell him one thing, and he's saying, just, you know what? A man have already tuned you out. He's not even hearing you when you go with the wrong tone.
That's right.
And women, you know we have a habit of that. We have a habit. We have the propensity to just go in. We'll go in on them, and we saying, look, I just told you, how come you didn't? Our tone is all up, according to the will of communication. Listen, you got to bring it down.
That's right.
38%.
Send on down.
It's 7% of what come out of your mouth, but 38% is the tone and mannerism. What is it that our mothers told us? You'll catch more bees with honey than with vinegar.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go to them in a sweet way,
Come on here.
if that tone is just an octave or two down, he's more willing to give you what you want. He could be just as wrong, and look, you right, but with the wrong tone, we won't win.
That's right.
We know he wrong,
Lady
and he
Fluke,
know
you
you
said
right.
This is good stuff.
But you have to make sure that tone is down where he can actually hear you. Because he's already checked out. He's already, what is it? Men on Mars and women on Venus. He's already gone. He's like, I'm not even hearing you. So women, we need to make sure, husbands, the communication is there, but women, we got to do our part. So let's communicate. Let's talk to each other and not at each other. You can have more initials behind your name. You got more degrees than on the thermometer. But even with your husband who just went to the past 12th grade, it still don't make you the head of that house. And if you have a problem with that, you don't need to marry anyone
That's right.
that have less education than you. Women, we tend to go a little further. We tend to be the ones to get the degrees, but you married him. You're dating him. Now, if you're dating him and his plan is, you know what, I'm good. I want to be a blue-collar worker for the rest of my life. I'm here to tell you, some of those blue-collar workers will work you under a bench.
That's right.
That blue-collar worker could buy you the biggest house. Amen. Yes, he can. And you can have all of the degrees, but you'll have the degrees by yourself. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. So, men, your woman needs that security. She's got to be able to trust you. She's got to have that affection, and the communication has to be there. It is key. I said to my husband, if I cannot trust you with my life, you're the wrong person. Because at the end of the day, guess who have the last say-so over you? It's your spouse. And if you can't trust that he's going to make the right decision concerning you, when you're incapacitated, you don't even know if you're in the world or not, and you have to worry about a man saying, you know what, just pull the plug right now. Don't wait 24 hours. He didn't see God. He didn't pray about anything. He's just trying to get rid of you, I guess, because he's saying next. I don't know. But it is important for you to make sure that you can trust that person with your life.
Amen. Come on, man. Let's give Lady Fluke her hand. We accept that. We receive that. And we're going to apply that. Now. Hallelujah. I'm going to give you the 3 things, and there are a lot more, but these are the top 3 things that men need from a woman.
Well,
Lady Fluke, you said a real good one when you said mother. That's phenomenal. The number one thing that a man needs from his woman is honor / respect. A man needs honor / respect. That is giving you the opportunity, if you are the head. If you are the head, God has designed you with the build that he has based upon you so that you can carry your family to where God wants you to go. But the woman who honors and respects that man, give that man a strength that he ordinarily wouldn't have had that woman not honored him.
wow.
Let's be honest, a woman makes a man better.
Amen.
When God created man, he said it was good. But he said it's not fit for man to be by himself. And so although I'm whole and was existent, I was nothing and no good until God gave me that peace that was taken away from me.
Wow.
And when I found the good thing, he closed the flesh thereof, because I then have the woman that God created for me, and that woman that God created for you is going to give you that honor, going to give you that respect. If you got a woman that don't honor and respect you, that's the wrong woman. You don't have to be arguing every single day just because she is right. If she's right, thank you for being right. You're my helper. Let's get this party started. Honor and respect. Number 2, heart. A man needs your heart. I'll give you an S so I can keep the first initials. He needs your honor and respect, which submission. Hallelujah. That's a cuss word for some. But you ain't biblical if you ain't submitted. Amen.
Amen.
So I move forward because you are all saved and you're sanctified and you believe in being submitted. The second thing a man needs is your heart, which is your support. If a man comes to you in a vulnerable state, there are many moments that I've been vulnerable because I don't have my mother, I don't have my father, I don't have my brother, and I don't have my sister, who is my #1 supporter. I don't have those, so periodically I have those meltdown moments that we could be talking or watching Lifetime Movie Network, and I just break down because a boy is talking to his daddy and I miss my daddy. A man needs to trust the fact that if I come to you vulnerable, that you don't take my vulnerability and use it against me as if I'm a punk when you know I ain't one. Don't come against saying what I did not do because I was crying. I need your heart, which is your support. A man needs your submission, your honor, respect. He needs your support. But the last thing, because I was doing the H's and the X, I said the hanky-panky for the sanctified folk. Amen.
Yes, he does. So, Pastor,
But for the sake of everybody, I say sex. Hallelujah. A man needs submission, a man needs support, and a man needs sex. Don't get the support twisted like he needs you to support him financially. He needs you to support him emotionally. He needs to trust that the heart that you have given him is solely for him so that you can be the one that God intended for you to be.
So with that honor and respect that every man needs, to respect him, meaning I recall some stories growing up. Husband was not saved, didn't go to church. The wife attends a church, faithful, saved woman of God. She's at home fixing a pound cake for the pastor. Husband is saying, "Oh, you making a pound cake for us today?" She said, "No, this is for pastor." And she takes that pound cake right out of that house and didn't even make her husband a pound cake.
And didn't even give him a slice?
Didn't even forget a slice.
That's a problem.
She took the cake out. She baking the potato pies and cooking dressing for the anniversary. Gone all day. You know, you got the first service and the second service. Left no food for her husband, saved or unsaved. Left no food for him. That's not showing her husband any honor or respect.
So is that a question or you just co-sign?
It's a rhetorical question.
Okay, that's not a question. She ain't showing her no honor, showing her no respect. A woman should never do more for your pastor than you would do for your husband. You should never do more for your pastor than you would do for your husband. God blesses you for blessing your pastor, but charity starts at home and spreads abroad. And remember, when we talk about being unequally yoked, if you will, where Lady Fluker was headed or where we could go from there, if your husband is not saved and you're saved, there's a reason why he's not saved and you're saved.
Amen.
And if you show him the honor and respect that God, according to the word, the Bible says the husband is sanctified by the wife. So he might not be saved today. He might still be drinking today. But as long as you do what God gives you to do and honor and respect him the way God intends you to honor and respect him, there's going to be a day when you get up and you get ready to leave for church and you're going to be dressed so nice. The makeup is going to be so tight. The nails is going to
Go.
be the perfect color that complements your complexion. And that outfit is going to be fitting you oh so well that he acknowledges you that morning and say,
I'm going.
where you going? I'm going to the same place I've been going every week, baby. I'm going to church. Really? Hold on, give me about 10 minutes. I'm going to get dressed. I want to go with you.
That's right.
Because he's going to be inquisitive. Why is she going to church dressed like this when she's supposed to be dressing like this for me? Right. He's assuming that there's somebody there that she's going to see. No, the only person I'm going to church to see is my Heavenly Father. Right. And I'm giving him the best that I got by dressing for where I want to go.
Right. So it's safe to say that a woman is a prophetess in her own home.
Absolutely.
A woman can speak those things that are not as though they were. What I'm saying is your husband may not be there now.
That's right.
But it don't mean that he cannot be. You can encourage him. I'll give you an example. I wanted some pictures hung in the house. I wanted some pictures hung in the house. And I said, man, you know, I need you to get these pictures on the wall. I really want these pictures up. You know, you don't want to dishonor your husband by saying, let me call somebody to come and hang these pictures. I've been waiting, or you know what, you don't have a drill, whatever the case is. And so I'm saying, you know what, man, these look really nice. I like these pictures. And so what I did was I used an old school trick. I came up with this new dish that I made, right? He was taking his time. He was dragging his feet. And I'm like, you know, I was tired of fussing about it because I'd already went off. When you going to put the pictures up? And he was not moving. He was not budging. So what I did was I came across this new dish. It was different than the regular baked chicken. And, you know, I'm saying he gets tired of that. He's tired of Italian sausages. Okay, let me do something. So I saw a dish. I said, oh, okay, I'm going to try it. So I went to the grocery store and I got some angel hair pasta. I got the angel hair pasta. I got spinach. I got shrimp. And I put a roasted red peppers in it and a lemon butter sauce to go on top of it. I made this meal. I'm telling you, quarantine has been good. I made this meal, prepared this meal, and I'm saying, he said, girl, I'm in love all over again. The next thing you know, he was like, Hercules, right? My pictures were up. He put the sign on I wanted this little sign on the laundry room door. He put the sign on there. I mean, everything was done. I didn't have to say anything else. It's just cook that meal. So I went old school. Let me get this meal together. And so now, I've made it 3 times at this point. 3 times.
I done bought a drill too.
The man went and bought a new drill. You can make him do some things that he's normally not even accustomed to doing. But because you're the prophetess of your home, you can just, you know what? You have to know how to go in, ladies. You got to know what to do. There is absolutely no reason why you are, listen, even the women that's aged at this point, I've seen some good-looking aged women. But for the younger women, how dare you? Now, you know what hairstyle your husband likes. There's no point in you going to get cornrows and he don't like cornrows.
Come on here.
If he don't like them, that's not attractive to him. But you refusing to say, well, I like them. I'm going to give me some cornrows. And he's saying, okay, right, okay. And then he don't look at you. He don't have the compliment to give to you. Listen, you can buy all the hair you want now. Malaysian, Brazilian, wavy, 12-inch, 14, 26. They make you a unit nowadays. You can go get your braids tight. Don't do them yourself. Don't pay the neighborhood person that don't do them. They learning and training on you, not for your husband. When it comes to that, you need to make sure you look as pretty as you can be.
Amen.
Don't be unattractive. Now listen, some people need a lot. Some people need help.
Now, ladies, look, you're going too far. You're going too far. She did say, death and life. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Let's get this straight. So women, treat your man right. Watch your mouth. Watch your tone.
Amen.
Whatever he ain't, you can make
Make him be.
All you got to do is speak it and love on him some. Victoria's Secrets exists for a reason. Fredericks of Hollywood's too. God bless your ministry. And there is no good thing that he'll withhold from you if you walk up next to him. Hallelujah. God bless you. All right. So Lady Fluke was then saying about the last piece that you was getting ready to go into. I do want you to wait for started so I can finish what you were saying.
I was just getting to the point of the attractiveness.
Okay, there we go. Okay, men, we're visual. I can say it better than Lady Fluke can.
Yes,
She can just give you her point of view. But from a male's perspective, men are visual. So when you come in the house and you're looking like Bertha.
Not Bertha.
Yeah, just Bertha. That's how you look when you got on that old flannel outfit. When you come into bed and you 50 and below, and God has still blessed you, whether you got a scar from pregnancy or not, you still sexy to your man. If you want to feel sexy, be sexy to your man. He's visual. Men are being tempted every single day. Every single day without even being tempted. They're tempted just because that's how Satan do. And when he comes home to you, you ought to give him something to come home to. What did old boy say? Put on your red dress. Somebody your high heels. Johnny Gill, that's his name. You got to do something to add some spice to his life.
Amen.
So don't be all sanctimonious as if you can't do certain things. Baby, back. You better have yourself presentable enough. The Bible says, he that findeth the wife findeth a good thing. He got to see you. And if he don't see something attractive, then you ain't the good thing. He gonna find another thing to replace the thing that you ain't.
Wow.
So you got to be presentable so that man, when he come home, he got food to eat on the table.
And the wife later on. Amen. See, we don't want to be real. We don't want to be transparent. You know, we want to just cover up everything and mask it and saying some things should not be discussed in the church.
They see it on cable anyway.
If you're seeing it on cable, you're seeing, listen, anyway, women, your husband watching it without you knowing. They're watching it without you knowing. Even the ones that's 60 and 70 years old. They're watching it without you knowing. And you're so busy in prayer that you have not come up yet. And if the truth be told, if walls could talk, and some of the women would just come and say, yeah, I know he's an elder in the church. I know, yeah, he's there. But let me just tell you what he said to me. You would just fall flat out on your face. You wouldn't even believe them.
He gave you some money too.
And passing out money. And passing out money. Yes, the elder in the church. Yes, that good, we call them the good, beautifully saved one. That's what we want to say. Because we're too busy saying what we should not address in the church. If the church is the hospital, this is where you come. We need to address those things. It is a reality that people get married in church that should not get married.
Amen.
It's a reality that people get divorced in church.
My God.
It's a reality. You know, my husband and I were in a place with a very well-known bishop in the church. And this bishop behind closed doors said to us, you know, I used to be so against it. Divorce. I was so against it. Oh, I grew up, you know, divorce is the anti. I was so against it. And until my daughter got divorced. And not only that, she's been divorced a couple of times. My daughter's been divorced a couple of times. He said, you know, but I could not receive it and see that until it happened in my family. See, God has a way of bringing things to your family for you to understand what somebody else's daughter or son are going through or have experienced.
Help people. The reality is, my father, may he rest in peace.
Wow.
When I got divorced, my father looked down on me. He did not allow me to
Because he
preach.
grew up in culture.
Because he grew up in culture. He did not allow different things. he even left a message for me on the voicemail because of something he had heard. He didn't come talk to me. It's something he had heard that was not the truth. However, when he went through the same experience when his wife left him, you know who he came to ask what to do next? It was me.
Wow.
So before then, I was not the best son because I was divorced. I messed up the name. But soon as his wife left him, he came to me, and that's how we bonded and got so close because he didn't know what to do. All he been in life was married. So now when he's going through a divorce, he need to find out what to do. And so now he have a better understanding of divorce because
He went through it.
he went through it
In the church.
in the church.
Against it. But so when you've been married, being married to your mom, and after your mom
33
passed
years.
away, 33 years
Yes,
being
ma'am.
married to the same woman, the mother of all his children,
Yes,
gets killed in a tragic car accident, get remarried, and now getting a divorce.
Yes, ma'am.
At an age way beyond 40
Yes,
at this
ma'am.
point,
Yes.
but had to come back to the same person that I criticized or
That's
judged
right.
because you just don't do that in the church.
That's right.
And the reality is, if we would spend more time talking about real issues in the church, we can prevent some of our young people from making the mistake of marrying wrong. You can marry so wrong to the point where you cannot lift your head up.
That's right.
You'll go into a state of depression and you are too embarrassed and you will stay married to the wrong person
That's right.
because you can't get divorced because people
Yes, you will.
that you sit next to in the worship center are going to have a problem with you, your peers. That same bishop told us, but you know, I have to put on this front
Yeah, my God.
in front of my peers that I'm against it when it happened in your own family.
That's right.
We are not perfect people. You got all kind of stuff going on in your family. And if you would spend the time to address them, you can help somebody. Stop covering it up. Stop acting like everything is all right when it's not all right.
That's right.
Who want to be in a house married but you sleep in separate beds? And when you can just take roll, and you'll find that a lot of people married sleep in separate rooms.
Wow.
I would
It's
go on
better
and
than
say,
sleeping in a different house.
some have moved to a different house
Right.
and think don't nobody know
I
it.
mean, you working my nerve.
Yeah.
So, divorce, it is bad. We're not condoning divorce in any way, shape, or form, but I am saying to you that God can deliver you in and out of divorce.
Amen.
Because reality is, Lady Fluker, my life with my mother and father was all I knew, longevity in relationship. But when I went through divorce, my divorce was for the time now. I didn't know that I had to suffer what I had to suffer for right now. I didn't deserve the divorce. I didn't want the divorce. It had to happen. And so here we are today, Lady Fluker. God delivered us, though the mistakes we made, and what people said you couldn't, and people said this and said that. There are people in society right now who have been or going through divorce, and God have blessed us to go through it so we can help them not to go through it and go through the situations that we had to endure, and some problems and tests that you go through. Let me just put it on the table. They not for you.
Amen.
Therefore, the ministry that God have designed for you. So you might have to suffer, but you're going to reign in the end. So just understand, the devil is a schemer, but God is a planner. He says, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. You're going to be divorced. You're going to have different relationships. You're going to have a baby before wedlock. But I know the thoughts that I have towards you, thoughts of good, not of evil, and to give you an expected end. So regardless you being divorced, regardless you being strung out on drugs, regardless you being from a broken home, I do want you to know I planned your future out. All you got to do is stick close to me and don't pay attention to what they say. Just remember what I say, and you'll be at your destiny where you will go, grow, and glow because you're following me to do what I called you to do. Yes, ma'am.
So you have to beware of the third voice.
That's right.
Beware of the third voice. If that third voice is your friend, your good friend, you've got to beware of the third voice.
That's in ministry.
That's right.
The third voice in marriage is God. So beware of the fourth voice. so that you don't get confused.
Right.
Beware of the fourth voice in marriage, because in your marriage it should be God, your wife, and your husband.
Okay.
Nobody else stuff matters, because we have to live with each other. I thank you for your opinion. I thank you for your recommendation. But at the end of the day, what works for Lolita and Andre is what we gonna roll with, because we the ones got to live with each other. Be careful for the third one, because that third one in marriage is God. So God is gonna always give you what needs to be done. But the fourth is outside of it.
Yeah. So if God be that center, that outside voice that's trying to influence you otherwise, you have to tell that person to get out of your business. You have to tell them, because what I've come to discover is people will talk you out of your good thing.
That's right.
And they'll come right behind you to try to get it.
Yeah.
That they will talk you out of your good thing and come behind you to try to get it. So you have to make sure that you're not allowing those people to come into your marriage. If it's between the two of you, it stay between the two of you. You don't have to get on the phone and get a party line connected to get advice from all of these other unmarried people or all of these unhappy single people who desire and want it. But the truth is, they're not ready for it. And you could be, but you got the wrong people giving you advice. You got to exit them out of your relationship.
Lady Flooper, just so we get ready to close, I want you to give, how does a single woman know when she's ready or she's able to be marriage material? How can you give the single women how they would know if they're ready for the good thing that they are for a man to get them, or
How a single woman is prepared when there are several things that no man can give to you. No man. Even in marriage, you have to know your purpose. And that could be for anyone. But since we're talking to the single woman at this moment, you have to know your purpose. No man can give you your purpose.
That's right.
You have to know, that you are already accepted. You're already accepted. God accepted you. And if you don't need, man cannot accept you. God accepted you.
That's right.
So you can't look for man to give you that acceptance. You can't look for man to give you that purpose. You can't look for that. A man cannot give you identity. God already did that.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to already know who and whose you are. Period.
Yes.
And if you're looking for that, you already know that you are not ready. You have to have that already. A woman, before you even get married, you have to be this whole person to the point where you are, I like to say, self-sufficient to the point. The validation that we look for after marriage from our spouse is one thing. But you need to know you've already gotten yourself together. You're together already. You are a homemaker already. You are a domestic woman already. You cook, you clean, you can do that for yourself. You already are at the height of your career. Your career, you finished, you matriculated through school, you already have your education down, you're already working in your career, you've got all of that. That's good. But you are still to the point where you could submit to another person. You have all of that going for yourself, but you can submit to another person. You don't, if you're still running around here, bouncing checks, if they still like rubber, you need to go back to get finance 101. Because you don't want to go into a relationship and you don't even know how to handle your own bookkeeping. You need to know that credit is important. That's man or woman. You need to know it because we coming together. What we look like, we can't have a lopsided thing here. I'm trying to get you to come up. We know that in the beginning, let's work on this credit. So when we get together, we can buy a home together and not get frustrated and mad because I'm saying we can't put you on the mortgage because your credit is jacked up. We can't even put you on it. I can only qualify for this much house because we can't put you on the loan because your name is all raggedy. In church, we need to operate with integrity.
Amen.
I know we don't like to talk about it in the church. We like to shout.
Yes.
We like to be raggedy,
Sit down.
but we don't like to have the real truth.
Right.
Facts.
Mhm.
It is facts. If both of you all got messed up credit, you can't buy nothing.
Okay.
You're going to have a higher interest rate on everything you go to buy.
Amen.
Then we got a problem. You know what? We used to say that's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That is because when your account is all messed up and you paying overdraft fees, every time you look around, your automatic deposit go in, and 300 of it is gone already because of bank fees. He said it's gone, it ain't child support. Because of bank fees, there's a problem. Now you are upset with each other. You sitting at home with your arms folded, pouting, tell the truth. You mad at him because I couldn't go buy something that I needed because when we came together, we didn't have our own selves together.
That's a recipe for a broken relationship. People of God, did you enjoy this today? We hope there was something said or something done that would bless you. This is just the first one. There will be many more because we definitely want to holistically make sure that you have what you need. You have to tell hell you ain't coming. Hell is a dark place. And wherever you are that is not in God's will is a dark place. And so, my brothers and sisters, as we move forward in life, we must always remember God is more concerned about your relationship than he is your religion. God is more concerned about your relationship than he is your religion. Anything you do repetitiously is religion. But when you do something out of a relationship, you're doing it with a pure heart. So men and women, you heard what women need, men, and women, you heard what men need. Let's pull this stuff together and apply it to our life because you can worship better when you're whole.
Amen.
I have a different dance now than I did then. I was dancing my way out of something. But I was so desperate that I was dancing and didn't even know I was dancing desperately. Now I have a happy dance because I am free, I'm whole, and I'm able to think sanely. When you have debt, you're stressed. When your wife have debt, you're stressed.
Facts.
And when a man really wants a woman to be able to perform behind closed doors, she can't be stressed about the mortgage,
Facts.
insurance,
Facts.
lights and gas, cable. Everything has to be taken care of so that the house can be at ease.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. So men, I would say to you, I know it seems like we get the raw end of the stick because when you get married, you die. Just got to tell you the truth. When a man gets married, he died. God says, give your wife and love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it.
So love is more of a sacrifice.
Love is more of a sacrifice. Love ain't love until you're giving it away.
My God.
So people of God, you must understand from a male's perspective, every single day, they used to call it back in the day, henpecked men. There's a certain men that's henpecked, they don't have no backbone, they don't have no bone at all. They just henpeck. Whatever women say they just do. That ain't God's will.
Amen.
But God do want you to be a man, and according to Ephesians, it says submit to one another. There's some ideas that Lady Fluker have that are better than mine. It don't make me less of a man to roll with her idea. But the reality is a real man understands his flaws, his insufficiencies, and he understands his strengths. And if your strength is your wife, use the strength that you have so that God can get the glory out of your life.
Amen.
So people of God, let's apply this that we heard today and let the devil know that whatever you're going through, whatever dark place he's trying to take you to, tell hell I ain't coming.
Amen.
Come on, clap your hands and let's give God some praise. Come on, you can do better than that. Clap your hands and let's give God some praise. He is worthy of the glory. He is worthy of the honor. He is worthy of the praise. And we're grateful for what God is and who he is in our life. But brothers and sisters, we thank you so much for joining us today. Real life issues in person. Marriage one-on-one. Marriage one-on-one. Unplugged. Lady Fluker and I came together to show you by example what a power couple look like that ain't nobody. God has blessed us to see some trials, some tribulation, and even some turbulence. But God told me in the midst of all my turbulence that my landing was going to be secure.
I like that.
I'm glad to hear it. You're going to experience some trials, you're going to experience some tests, and you're going to experience some turbulence. Turbulence is not the funnest place to be in when you're on a plane. But if God is in it, you're going to have a safe landing. So men, pay attention to what a woman needs. Women, pay attention to what a man needs. Because there's going to be turbulence in a relationship. But you got to know, according to your mouth, when you speak those things that be not as though they were, because death and life is in the power of the tongue, you're going to say, husband, we're going to land safe. Husband, I know we're going through now, but we're going to make it. Honey, I know that it ain't looking good now, but we're going to make it. If he did it before, he's going to do it again. My brother and sisters, we thank you for tuning in to this special edition of the All Nations Experience.
Amen. Real life issues.
Real life issues. So here we are today. Thank you so much. There might be somebody here in the room today and somebody that's watching via Facebook Live who do not know the Lord Jesus in your life. You heard this and you understand that your life is incomplete because you do not have him. We're together. God made us one because 1 plus 1 equals 1. We're no longer two, but we're one. And so God wants that for your life. And if that's you, you can put it in the comment section. I want to accept the Lord Jesus in my life. This is the reason why we did it. We can preach, we can hoop, we can holler, we can scream. But the reality of this celebratory experience today is so that we can reach somebody in a different way than what they're used to. You didn't want to hear no hooping, you didn't want to hear no screaming, you just want to hear some real talk. Real talk, you need Jesus. And we offer him to you today. The potter wants to put you back together again. If that's you, we're going to pray the sinner's prayer with you. And we're going to give you an opportunity to say yes to his will, yes to his way, yes to his word. Father, here I stand in need of a Savior. I'm asking you to come into my heart, to live in me, so I can be your